Hey, let's do a quick lesson on golf. Now, this is for people that don't know the game of golf very well, but basically you hit the ball off the tee and you're trying to get it into that cup, and it could be anywhere from 130 yards to almost 400 yards away. So the three scores that you might be trying to get is 3, 4, or 5. Hit the ball 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times and get it into the cup. Those are the three scores you're trying to get. So let's take a look at this. Over here, we've got Bidwell Park Golf Course. So I don't play golf very often, so I'm not very good. But when I do play, here's hole number 1. So hole number 1 starts right here, and I would hit the ball and all the way down here onto the green and into the cup. And normally I would probably get a 6, which is actually not so bad for me. I should have hit it into the cup in 4 shots, but I didn't warm up, and there you go. So now, next, I go over here, and here's the tee for the next shot, which is right here. And this is a short one, so that's a par 3. Now I might get a... I've parred this one before. Now part of the reason that I par it is they have something that's called a backstop. There's a big mound of grass back here, and I would hit it into that grass, and then it would roll down and onto the green. So I might get a par on that one. Now, I have to drive my cart. Now this was a little bit of distance. Let's see, where is it? It's way over here is where the next hole is. So this is a tough hole because you got to hit it over this tree here, right here. You're teeing it up from right about, where is it? The tee is like in this area right here, so you got to go a long way. And it's still a par 4. It's a tough hole. So we start here. I hit the ball way over there, and I keep going, and I got to get it onto the green and in the hole. This one, lots of times I get a 7. Now, still not doing that great. The next hole is over here, starts here, and it's right there, and that's a tough green, and I usually end up getting, like I said, I'm pretty bad. Usually I get like a 6 on that one. And then we go down, we go down the hill, and I think this is where you tee off next, right there. And let's see, that's a long hole, way over here to there. So this is a par 5, because you got to go a long way. You got to go from all the way over here. Let's do this last one. All the way, stay with me on this, to, wow, that's a long way. Whoa. Let's keep going all the way to there. It's supposed to be a par 5. Now I try to get a 7 on that one. I don't want to get an 8 because that's pretty bad. Now an 8, they call that a snowman, and you want to keep that snowman off your card, okay? So that's kind of golf. You have 18 holes, and then you tally up your score, and there you go. You want to have the lowest score possible. So let's do a 5-number summary on a golf score. Okay. Let's just assume that this is the map of the course, and I just put the number down where I ended up on the golf course. So I got a whole mess of numbers here, so we're going to clean things up because that's what we do in stats. We're going to try to organize stuff. So I'm not going to put it in a list from hole 1 to hole 18. I'm just going to organize a list from my lowest score to my highest score. So let's move some stuff around. Oh, look at that. There's a 2. That must have been a birdie on something. And we'll move this 3 over here. So let me do this real quick. And here we are, lowest to highest. So we have this 5-number summary, which we were a little bit rushed at the end of class. I apologize for that. But let's do this on this golf score. We've got the minimum. We've got the maximum. Now let's talk about the median. So this is an even number of numbers, 18 holes, which means there won't be a single number. There's going to be 2 in the middle. So let's count them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we take these two numbers and we average them, and guess what? The average is 6. Now we're going to take the median of the lower half of the data. Now, this 6 is included in this lower half. This 6 is the average of those two. It's not really in that list. So the median of this lower half is going to be 9 numbers, which means we'll have a number in the list. Let's count them off. I think you guys know this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. And don't forget to count that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there, that's the middle. So that 5 is going to be quartile 1. Same thing for the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there, that 5th one is going to be quartile 3. Right there. So the minimum is 2, maximum is 8. This is Q1, quartile 1. This is the median. And this is quartile 3. 5-number summary. So we might want to make what's called a box plot of this data, and I will do that real quick. I made a number line, and I tried to make all the numbers, draw them evenly spaced. We have our 5-number summary. The median, quartile 1, quartile 3, the maximum, and the minimum. So we're going to make a box plot. This is how I do it. I start with the median, which is right here, make it a line, and then quartile 3 was at 7, quartile 1 was at 5, and we make a box around that. Make a point at the high, the maximum, and make a dot at the low, which is the minimum. And there you go. There's your box plot. You could label this if you want. It is 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And this is the low. No, that's the minimum is what we call it, the minimum. This is the maximum. Quartile 1, quartile 3, and then the median. So the information that this gives us is that, yes, my low score was a 2, my high score is an 8, but if you look at the spread of this, look at that right there. That's 50% of my scores are either 5, 6, or 7. So that gives me a little bit more information, which means 50% of my scores were on this high side. If you look at, it's not evenly distributed. It's really not symmetric. It's a little bit on the high side, and half my scores were in there. Now, let's look at one more thing before we go. I made a box plot on the calculator. My challenge to you is if you can figure out how to do the same thing using the golf data right there. So that's my challenge. See if you can figure that out. If you come in on Monday knowing how to do that, you are awesome. I think we need to talk about outliers. So here we go. Outliers. We have our 5-number summary, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, what we do is we figure out what the interquartile range is. They call it the IQR, which is the range between the two quartiles. The interquartile range, I guess I'll write this down, is Q3 minus Q1. In this case, it gives us a 2. That is our interquartile range. To find out an outlier, let's write this down. An outlier, this is in the book, is you take the IQR and you multiply it by 1.5. So in this case, we would get, for an outlier, 3. This helps us find the outlier. What we do is we take that 3 and we add it to Q3, which would give us 10. So what we're saying is, if I had a score of, it has to be bigger than that, 11. If I had to hit the ball 11 times to get into the hole, that would indicate that it was an outlier. We also go on the low side. Take a look at this Q1. If I take 3 away from 5, I get 2. Well, I did get a 2. It's still not an outlier. It has to be less than that. It has to be outside that range. Well, if I had a 1, in other words, if I had a hole in 1, that would definitely be an outlier from the rest of my scores. Okay, so that is a quick overview of what outliers are, and that is going to come up later. Have an awesome weekend, and I will see you Monday morning, first thing. Pledge of Allegiance and everything. Awesome. Bye.